Hello everyone and welcome to Alt VR. Now we are in 2024 and Apple's new VR headset is soon going to be released. And I guess already there we can begin to talk about it. It's not really a VR headset, at least not according to Apple. Right, and that was the big thing. This is spatial computing, it's a new era that we're going to get into. And we did get quite a big reveal, of course, of this headset, where it became clear that their vision for, I won't use the word, their vision for the future in terms of this new computing interface was quite, I would say, limiting, extremely limiting, but also extremely feasible. And I think this is what Apple is going to be. It's going to be premium, extremely premium hardware. I mean, it looked insane, right? You had the M2 chip in there with the micro OLED displays. I'm sure they got the optics nailed down. Can't wait to try that. But software-wise, I mean, I just wanted at least one wow moment in the reveal of what this was going to be. And finally, when they got to the social aspect part, I thought, all right, here we go. And when I saw these Microsoft Teams windows just hanging around in your apartment, I mean, I think it's the most turn-off representation of anything that I've ever seen. I mean, Apple is going to make it. This is going to be the new thing. They're actually going to be the winners here in many ways because they are so boring. VR is so awesome that it's not become a thing yet. Do you see the pattern? VR needs to be brought down to something boring and plain and something that you can do in your everyday life with your normal apps, with your normal friends, with your normal work in order to become feasible. So it's the exact reason why VR is awesome that it won't work, and it's the exact reason why VR Apple, apart from the hardware, looks terrible that it actually is going to work. And I think this is quite an interesting conundrum. It's even been the purpose of this YouTube channel, Alt VR, alternative ways of using the VR medium, to sort of try to find the killer app, right? Because that's always been the idea. We need to find the killer app. What app is going to make me use VR every day? What application is going to, make me have a productive relationship with virtuality at all? What VR application is going to make me bother turning on my PC, dealing with the Steam VR, putting it on my face, despite the comfort issues and so on. So this has always been the thing with VR. Of course, there are users who really, really love VR and use it every day, but that is not everyday people, right? Those are gamers. Those are people who are used to having a slightly non-traditional lifestyle, at least a young lifestyle. And I've actually been struggling quite a bit to really become a VR gamer myself. I do love VR chat. And I tried to use more time there. I managed to use more time there. But yeah, back to the point. Apple's vision for the future, I'm going to say the word, sorry, for the metaverse, for our using of spatial computing technologies is boring. It's like Tim Cook is on stage and say, look, you can have an iPad app there in that corner. You can have an iPad app in that corner. You can have an iPad app over your bed. Then you can have an iPad app next to your PC. You can have an iPad app there. You can have a Teams meeting there. And it's just, spatial computing is some sort of vision for spatially distributed screens in your apartment. I mean, that is so boring. I think the only real place that we actually saw total virtual reality, and of course that this is augmented reality and virtual reality is fair enough, and that is also a good point. Having things augmented means that the actual threshold for getting into a VR experience is less because you can see your surroundings, so that's fine. But you have the most awesome VR hardware in the world. Couldn't you at least show one epic adventure of some sorts? Or one way in which you could maybe alter your appearance, becoming someone else? There wasn't even one in VR person meeting. And these, no, yeah. So the reason I didn't make a video about it when it first came out was that I was just so flabbergasted. I just couldn't really understand it, to be honest. Oh, yeah. Now I remember. When they had Disney come on, and it was like, okay, yeah, now I thought, now it's coming. And they had 2D players. It was like, look, your cinema has slightly more decorative features on the edges of the screen. That's insane. I mean, you literally have a medium that is capable of simulating anything. And if you are Apple, then it can simulate anything visually. If you are Disney, it can simulate anything visually. They chose to show that. And I couldn't believe it. Now, apart from the dissing of Apple here, because I don't think that's worth the point, my point is that I don't actually think that Apple is mistaken in adopting this strategy. It's what's going to work. It's what's going to work for the business customers or the regular customers of Apple who like their apps and whatever. And of course, there is a lot of potential when they open this for third-party apps, right? But we know that Apple is strict. They have always had a vision for their app stores of things that are allowed, things that are not allowed. They have a particular focus. And this isn't, I mean, yeah, it's going to be different when it's in Apple's system, you know? The app reviews are going to be very strict. This is not Steam, you know? Anyone can publish a Steam game or some Steam experience. Apple's reviews, that's something else. Still, I think it's going to be extremely successful because that's what Apple does. They do successful things. But I don't think it's the headset for me. I don't think it's the headset for you either. If you want to use this for VR chat, well, I mean, only time will tell, but it's not going to come pre-installed, you know? They basically do not want to associate with, relate to the general history that the VR medium has had for the last 10, 11, 12 years. Yeah, it would be about 12 years since we had this thing on the Kickstarter, right? They didn't even mention anything, and that's fine. I don't mind it. I'm just saying it's for a reason. They start their own thing. They want to own this 100%. They don't want to relate to, build upon any cultural, anything sedimented at all, any VR community. Again, you won't find VR chat on this thing. They're going to have their own applications, and it's way too risky. But yes, that's just my 2 cents. You have been watching the Alt VR YouTube channel. We are interested in exploring alternative and experimental approaches to virtual reality. So that means that it's a YouTube channel about VR, but we don't really cover games that much. More, sometimes we may comment on the VR landscape, as in this video. Sometimes we may create our own applications. For instance, we have used virtual reality and sensory deprivation tanks before. We have used virtual reality and drones so that I could sort of play myself in a third-person perspective through in VR. Yeah, very weird. We just try to do experiments, check out interesting applications, and discuss, yeah, sometimes also philosophical issues with virtual reality. So if this is you, if you're also interested in beyond gaming, maybe the potential of VR, issues connected to it, and sometimes, yeah, a bit more theory or philosophy related to it, then maybe you would like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, but also check out other community members in the Discord channel. So you can find the Discord channel invite in the description below. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.